absolutely delighted to win the first playoff game in the club's history at home in front of our own fans. There's a lot of tension, as you can imagine, in the build-up to this. I think the guys, even on a good run, felt the pressures of coming into a home playoff game. But I thought throughout, their attitude, application and quality in the game was very good. Bright start, a couple of other opportunities maybe to have increased our lead. And there was certainly a period when Charleston scored where we just looked like we'd just taken our foot off the gas a little bit. But to get that goal just before the break, I think was a real difficult one for them to deal with. I know, been in that position myself, mentally it's not easy going in that locker room, especially maybe contemplating some of the things that have happened in the last week. And then to come out in the second half, I thought we reinforced our position. We looked sound in a lot of departments, even though there were one or two moments that just looked brighter for them. I didn't ever feel that there were too many clear-cut opportunities for them to score, and of course absolutely delighted to see Derek's goal. It's amazing what this game does and our sport is. You know, 5-6 months ago that he has a very serious injury against these, and then he goes and scores in a home playoff game, and it's almost redemption. So delighted for Derek as well.
Questions, please.
They've been a tough out for you in your previous 3 games this season. Even when you won, it was a very close game. Is it almost a relief knowing that you kind of had a dominating performance this time?
Oh no, the game itself probably unfolded in a similar sort of fashion or picture to what I might have imagined. They're a good side, they've made the playoff in I think every year of their history, and I think Mike's own abilities are there for all to see. He's been an incredible head coach and servant for the club. So it's never going to be easy. They had a wonderful win in the week. I'm sure they were, very confident and buoyed by that. But our job was to, in our very first home playoff game, was to try and take advantage of what we have here in these surroundings. And I thought the guys did a very good job of that. In terms of what they represent, I think if we cast our minds back to, and I've certainly cast mine back plenty of times to the game that we lost 3-1 at their place. The cup game in the Open Cup, we played very, very well, but still lost. Couldn't find the answer to the equation against them. And, whilst we beat them here, it really was a nail-biting end. So this was our most dominating performance against them, and it's come at a very good time.
What was the message, or what was the goal for this team in the first
Well,
goal?
I think if you look at the first goal, that really epitomised an awful lot that we'd worked on, which was to try and get higher up the field, to put a seed of doubt in their mind as to what this game was going to be about, but to also get us in the right mindset. And it took, 9 minutes to get on the scoreboard, but the pressure, the interception, and from one challenge or interception from Matt Negrassa, Lebo has a clear-cut opportunity on goal. Now, if I could have written up a more ideal scenario, I'm not sure I could have. It was everything that we could have asked for. It put us on the right track, and I think mentally it gave us that opportunity to just warm into the game rather than feeling the tension of a 0-0 or a difficult first half performance where we haven't broken the deadlock, which we've seen before. As I said, they're a tough side. They're really difficult to play against and have shown that throughout the year. But I think that opening goal settled a lot of people down.
There were lapses, even in probably midway through the second half, especially defensively, where Charleston were able to put pressure on the ball, win it back, and try to counter, especially on the wings. Are those lapses, concerning to you in terms of staying in control of the game in long periods of time, particularly in a situation where you have the lead, considering
I don't think there's a team in the world, not too many. You could probably name one each that absolutely dominate for 90 minutes of the game. My overriding thoughts and view of the performance and what happened were that for large periods we looked, if not in control of the ball, in control of our actions and where the game was going. But you're right, there were one or two moments. A terrific strike from Patterson on the left-hand side. I've got to say, I'm not sure he'll hit too many more like that, and I've watched him play quite a bit. It was a hell of a strike. But nevertheless, there were some moments where, in a cup game, where Charleston know if they don't put some pressure on us, or at least take some chances, that they're out. This is the end of their season. So I think you're always going to get those moments where you feel as though it might just be, drifting away from what you want. But I felt as though there were plenty of moments in the game that we controlled. We created more than enough chances to win it. Not sure what our conversion rate was, but I'm pleased to score 3 goals again, of course. And delighted in the way that certain individuals have played. I thought Derek was great when he came on. I'd have to pick out Bolu as a real foundation to that midfield. 2 centre-backs, other than Forrest's lapse of concentration for the penalty. 2 centre-backs were brilliant again. Look, there were lots of really good displays, and most importantly of all, we can all look back on this, and it's another piece of what we've achieved, and that internal, fabric that you're building within a group. And we move on to next week to play Indianapolis, which will be a very tough game. But we're on the back of a really good win of 5 games, and a winning run. So it's a nice place to be.
One-on-one, and Alan Wynn was able to get it behind off the dribble and create some chances and put some balls into the penalty box. What did you see from him? Throughout his time, he obviously came off early, but what did you see throughout his time?
I thought the 2 wide players, Taylor for sure in the first period was maybe a little bit more effective. Alan had one terrific moment, but these guys are all about being positive, and when we can get them in that positive groove and mindset, we get more out of them. And that's not easy. There's strong, stout defenders playing against them, and it's just not easy to always take these players on. But I was very pleased with what they offered the group. When they can get at those fullbacks, they stretch the game out. They offer Daniel more opportunity to get on the ball. They offer Lebo more opportunity. So I'm very, very pleased. I thought Papa was great when he came on as well. All in all, some really nice performances and lots to be grateful for moving forward next week.
Probably not a surprise at this point, but Daniel Rios got another goal. How much pressure do you think it takes off the rest of the team, not only that he can finish those half chances, but just all the work he does off the ball?
Well, I'd have to say he's, if not the best forward in this league, then I'd love to know who he is.
Yeah.
There's a reason that the club have taken a chance to sign Daniel and take him to the next level, because he has all the credentials that can make him a good player, a successful player, and an effective player at the next level as well. It doesn't surprise me that he's got on the score sheet again. It shouldn't surprise anyone, because he scores regularly. So that's a delight to have in your team. It's a bit of a comfort blanket for me and for a lot of players out on the field. Make no mistake about that. The goal that he scores, when we look back on it, is the winner. I know we get the 3rd goal and it takes the pressure off everyone, but Daniel's goal's the winner again. And I've always said that winning goals are worth double. And he scored some very, very important goals. It gets us into the locker room at half-time in a great mental place. It gives me an opportunity to be more positive with a group and talk about the things that we can do to go on and win the game, rather than, you know, we've played well, but whenever you say but to anyone, it's not good. They know that there's something coming beyond that they're not going to like. So it's great to have him in a group. He's such a genuine individual. Really, really pleased that he scored a goal, not only for himself, but for the group.
What's going through your mind as Derek makes that run down the left-hand side to give you guys the third goal?
When who?
When Derek scores that third goal, what were you thinking as he kind of, you know, beats the defender on multiple occasions, the same guy?
Well, the goal, I mean, he must have stumbled 14 times. I mean, at one point, I thought he was crawling along on his knees. And I don't know how he ended up getting an effort on goal anyway. But he managed to get one of those long legs out and, you know, force it goalwards, which has taken the pressure off everyone. You don't want to be going into the last few minutes. At 2-1, there's that edginess and nervousness about the group. So, really, really pleased. And yes, he had an opportunity to get a second as well. Did very, very well. I think it's taken him a little bit longer than maybe any of us would have liked, including himself, to get to that point where I think you're starting to see some of those qualities again that we saw before the injury. And it's not just about a bone healing or a ligament healing. Having been in that position myself, there's something up here as well that you've got to get over that injury, especially against a side that, you know, you ran into when you had that injury. So really, really pleased for him. Really pleased.
Has there been a building relationship between you two now that he's been able to overcome, you know, not only the obstacle itself, but be able to actually see himself on the score sheet as well? Have you been able to talk with him through his process of getting back, and were you able to even say anything to him after the match?
Well, yeah, Derek's not different to any of the other guys. I don't treat him any differently. None of the guys that have got those deals for next year have been treated in any different way. And I think that in itself has enabled the whole group to function and create such a good camaraderie. As far as his injury, of course, I've been able to relate to some of the things that I've had as a player, but I'm not sure any player wants to hear that. He's going through the pain. He just needs to be reassured that not only will he heal, and the body's an incredible machine and he'll come back stronger, which he has. But it sometimes takes a little bit of time to get back to that sharpness and match fitness and confidence. There's so many things that go into somebody like Derek and a creative player actually walking on the field and being able to produce what they're capable of. So he's moving ever closer to that, which I'm really pleased about. But nowhere near as pleased as he is. He'll be very, very pleased.
This is your fourth consecutive home match, and you've won all four of them, and then have another one coming up next week. How important has it been just being able to play in front of the home fans, and how do you feel like that, especially in the second half going towards the supporter section? Do you feel like that affects the team?
Well, I thought the crowd were great tonight. I mean, when I looked out there and saw the numbers that had turned up, the atmosphere was terrific. It really did replicate what we all hoped and, you know, maybe felt would happen on our first home playoff game. It was a real nice vibe around the place. I think the team did their part and made it an exciting game. Fans certainly did theirs and got behind the group when we needed it most. You know, that sort of history and appreciation and understanding of what playoff games are all about are great. The reality for us was always going to be, could we take advantage of the 3 home games back to back? And we did. And it gives you a little bit of momentum. And you walk into a game like this tonight and there's nothing out there that's unnatural. We've been here the last 3 weeks. It's the same routine as the last 3 weeks. It's the same result as the last 3 weeks. And it won't always work out that way. But the players in that locker room, like all sportsmen, need regularity and routine. And if they can find that, then it makes it a lot easier for them to find that groove and that fluidity about the team. And I think they're playing this field as well as they've ever done. We've had the opportunity to come out here and train more than we've done before. And I think we're seeing the rewards for that.